What's up everybody, Brody here from Sew Yeah Quilting. Today in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to make this Shaded Star Quilt using half square triangles. Let's get started. So as you can see here, I have the fabric laid out for one block. I have my background fabric, my accent fabrics, and some sashing. So these right here are, these squares here are 4 inches square, and these are 3.5 inches square. And I also have a few 1.5 wide by 10 inch long sashing pieces. As you can see on the quilt behind me, obviously this is one block, but it's basically got 4 sub blocks inside of one block. So we're gonna make these blocks, sash them together, and then continue on with the rest of the quilt. So I'm gonna move these things out of the way and we're gonna get started. So I have my background fabric here, and I have one of my accent fabrics. What I've done is I've taken these 2 at a time, folded them in half, and ironed them. So that's given us a line down the center of each one of these squares. That's what we're gonna use to line up our half square triangles. So I'm going to take one of my background pieces and one of my accent pieces, put them together, and sew a 1/4 inch seam down each side of my pressed line. When we get to the end here, I'm going to cut my thread, and I'm going to turn it around, do the same thing on the other side. So I've just finished my square. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of this color, and then we're gonna start cutting them all together. So I've got my first set of colors done. I'm gonna move on to the second set. Again, I folded in half, ironed, giving us this crease. Gonna do the same thing as I did on the last set. Cut my thread, flip it around. Same thing on the other side. Okay, I got my first square done of this color. I'm gonna finish the rest and be right back. So as you can see here, I've got my half square triangles sewn. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start cutting them. So, just like any other half square triangle, and grab them, cut them right down the center, and stack them up. So I'm gonna keep going on this, get everything cut, and then we're gonna start pressing and squaring. I'm gonna move my cutting tools out of the way, slide my cutting mat over, my ironing mat over, and we'll be set. Now what we're gonna do is take these and iron them open. So, always press towards the dark side. Now that we have everything pressed open, we're gonna do is start squaring. So I'm gonna slide some of these off to the side. We're gonna square these to 3.5 inches. Cut it off, turn it around. We've got our squared block. Now what we're gonna do is just keep doing that, and we're gonna square everything up. Now that I have everything cut and square, I'm gonna show you how to put together one of these blocks right here. So what you're gonna do is, I like to call it like doing tic-tac-toe. I'm gonna take my bottom piece and set it down here, and go across like this. So my black fabric is my background fabric. So once I have these here, I'm gonna take my light color and put them to where they're touching each other, like this. Okay, so all 3 of these pieces are touching. Now you're gonna take your other color and you're gonna put them so they're pointing away from your cornerstone piece here. So they're both pointing away, and again pointing away in the other direction, just like this. Okay, this is how you want to lay out each one of your blocks. So I'm gonna lay this out. I'm gonna start sewing them, obviously just how you would sew any other quilt block. Start sewing them in rows, and then sew the rows together. After that, I'm going to repeat the process 4 times to get an entire block, and then I'll show you how to put the sashing on. Okay, I finished my first row, and I'm gonna just keep repeating. So I'm gonna grab the next one, go on to my second row. So as you can see here, I have the first quarter of the block done. Now, or excuse me, I have the rows done. Now what I'm gonna do is put the rows together, match them up, and sew. Okay, so I just finished my first, turn the right direction, my first quarter of a block. I'm gonna repeat this process 4 times and show you how to put the whole block together. Now that I have all 4 of my quarter blocks done, what I'm going to do is take 2 of them and put a sashing piece on between them. So basically I'm just gonna put it over the top here. So a 1/4 inch seam, open it up, and then do the other side. I've got my sashing piece sewn. Bring it back over here. Get the next piece, put it right sides together, right on top. And one thing you want to make sure when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not just putting it in the center of your sashing piece, that you're also centering it with your, let me pull it up here, centering it here with the bottom block. So you want to make sure that when we're doing it, we've got it right where it needs to be. I got my sashing piece done here. I'm gonna set it down here. And I've also already done my other side. So now what we need to do is we need to get the center piece done. So take another strip of sashing and my background color. I'm gonna put those together and just sew a quick 1/4 inch seam down one side. Just like this. Now I'm gonna open this up, grab the other one, do the same thing. Giving us that little center dot. So now that I've got my center strip, I'm gonna just lay it down right here, that's how it's gonna go. And I'm going to, basically the most important thing is to make sure that this center dot and your sashing on the side match up. So I'm gonna lay this right on top here, match up my seams, lay the rest out, and then we're going to sew this at a 1/4 inch seam down one side. So I finished my first side, laying the second side right on top, do the exact same thing. So I just finished putting together the first block, came out just how I wanted it. So in order to make this quilt behind me, all you need is 3 blocks wide and 4 blocks long. As always, we're gonna put instructions on how to make this quilt in the description below. My name is Brody, teaching you how to sew like a pro. We'll see you next week here at Sew Yeah Quilting.